I'm not gonna lie to you guys, I'm heavily invested into this guy's story. It's just, I love seeing new players enjoying World of Warcraft. What can you say? It just revitalizes me to see how someone uncorrupt is being put into a game and actually enjoying it for what it is. It makes me reminisce. It makes me regrow my hair follicles.
The funny thing about my experience playing Classic WoW for the first time is I've started to learn I might be more positive about this game than most WoW players are. As someone who's
True! Absolutely. Oh shit, wait. Let's see that. Blizzard is worse than you thought. Facts. World of Warcraft Classic is dead. Man, he hasn't encountered my channel yet. I mean, listen, I try to be positive. Blizzard just makes it way too difficult, guys, okay? It just, what can we do? What can we do, man?
WoW players are. As someone who's still very early on in his first ever 1 to 60 leveling journey, I've been entranced by World of Warcraft and everything I've run into.
Yeah, don't worry, we gotta open his eyes slowly.
Until this point. From running my first dungeon, to grouping with kind strangers, to stumbling across some truly incredible quest lines, all in just the first 2 episodes. It has genuinely shocked me how good this game from 2004 still is, as I keep saying, but I do want to recognize, for others who've been playing since 2004, they have bigger fish to fry. If you spend any amount of time online, it's almost impossible to not notice that most longtime WoW fans have serious issues.
We reached a point where you just type World of Warcraft on YouTube and every single video is dooming the game. Nobody's saying anything good because there's literally nothing good to say about Blizzard. It's so funny. Like, nobody's saying anything. It's just, I quit, I had enough, screw Blizzard, I'm tired, nothing changes, it's all the same, game getting woke, game is being Disneyfied, everything is the same. Nothing you can do to stop it. It's so crazy how people still love this game even after everything Blizzard has put them through.
Be it with Blizzard or Classic or retail. And you know what? A lot of those criticisms seem totally legitimate. That's why I told myself, starting here in episode 3, I don't want to act like Classic WoW is perfect. I want to make sure that I'm not just highlighting the good, but that I'm being honest about any disappointments that I run into. And that's good timing because at this point in my playthrough, I started running into all kinds of disappointments. As I continued leveling, I kept encountering scenarios where the game introduced a new exciting thing to me, building it up like something amazing was coming, only to yank the rug out from under me over and over. If there was ever a point where I would start...
He's saying that before reaching the Ashbringer quest too, which is crazy.
...to sour on Classic WoW, it would be right here and now, but... I'm sorry. Somehow the disappointments made this game even better. I don't know what to tell you. I think I'm broken.
Really?
I can't stop being positive. These issues just made me like the game more.
Yeah, I like this guy. I like him. I like him.
We'll get into all of that very shortly. But
he's a great storyteller.
Into today's adventure, this video is sponsored by War Thunder.
Should have played Horde.
Is the most comprehensive vehicle combat game of all time.
Exactly.
Available to play.
Oh, that's World of Warcraft 3.
Consoles and mobile devices.
You just you choose an orc and you go into a tank and you just blow shit up. You just storm with castle
combat. And this game has all of
just
the above,
nuke him.
Featuring
you don't
over
care.
2,500 different types of tanks, planes, helicopters,
crazy
and ships
pog
from 10 major nations. Everything ranging from biplanes.
Oh, and here's your $5 monthly $15 monthly dollars. Yes.
Tanks from the modern era.
Exactly.
This is a title that is.
While players are notorious to complain and still pay.
I can't help but love how every vehicle in this game is straight up modeled down to its individual components, stuff like engines, fuel tanks, weapons, and crew. And the game will
is War Thunder good?
That each one of them takes from different
types of
enemy fire, all behaving basically as true to life.
I know it's sponsored half of YouTube, but
there's an incredible amount of effort that's been put into creating graphics and sound effects. And
it looks pretty cool.
All these different weapons of war, not to mention all the customization.
I used to play a lot of games like this.
Stand out among the over 95 million players.
I know why. I just kind of stopped playing shooters.
Worldwide community.
I just strictly moved to Counter-Strike.
This is a title,
but it does look really cool. It looks fun.
Just make sure you sign up using my links in the pinned comment.
Look like it has impact
down below, since new players as well as returning PC and console players who've taken at least a 6-month
It's so good
break
it made people
will
leak
receive
military
a massive
secrets to prove
bonus
points.
pack that includes
I remember that.
multiple premium
Base.
vehicles, the exclusive
That's how you go about
vehicle
it.
decorator Eagle of Valor,
Oh, Eagle of
100,000
Valor.
silver lions, and
Wow.
7 days of premium account. But all of this is only
Damn.
available for a limited time, so make sure you sign up using my links down below today. Thanks again
Surely.
to War Thunder for sponsoring the channel. But now, back
Now
to the
let's
video.
get back to the
Okay,
good
so
stuff.
quick recap of where we last left the series off. After getting hooked on trying to solve the mystery of the Defias Brotherhood and the corruption plaguing the city of Stormwind, I had to level a lot further if I wanted to continue that main narrative, which is how I found myself.
Yeah, dude, I love it so much he's actually reading the quest. Thank God. People understand what made Classic so good. Like, honestly, some of the quest line were goated.
Running through a flurry of great moments in our last episode. We went through everything from solving the legend of Stalvin's creepy mystery, to setting foot in the beautiful wetlands for the first time, to hearing about the saddest story in all of gaming through Sven's revenge. There was a
No, you haven't helped saving Mankrik wife. If she needs you, she can be saved. Don't worry. Don't let. I'm sorry, I can't. Listen, I mean, it's so funny because I played Season of Discovery, and whenever I reached Mankrik, like someone in chat just broke me, I don't remember who it was, she ran away with a Quillboar, and that just made me laugh my ass off, dog. Like, that was so good. I love it whenever you ask, where's Mankrik wife? You'll get every single answer in the universe except the correct one.
Actually so much that happened during my last play session, I couldn't even fit it all into the video. Some of the simpler quests, like the one where I got a library book as a drop in Duskwood that I was supposed to take back to Stormwind, that didn't feel nearly as pressing compared to all the other grand narratives I got to see. But of course, the most important thing that happened recently was I became rich when we got a super rare drop that sold for almost 70 gold at the auction house.
What?
And thank God you guys told me before that I should be selling drops like this at the auction house, or I probably would have
Making
vended
bank.
it. Speaking of your guys' comments, I'm still trying to play through this series as unguided as possible, but
Good.
I have appreciated a few of the tips you've provided, and not just because some of them.
Someone in the chat, I basically just caught him and be like, oh, you should download Rested XP, it's the best add-on. If you're downloading and using Rested XP, you should be prohibited from ever purchasing a subscription again. For any game in your entire lifetime. It's one step before you completely become battery for AI.
Made me rich. Recent comments have been teaching me even more helpful things, like I don't need to be using an add-on to track threat after all. I can just turn on this setting that shows the target of my target instead, keeping our whole playthrough totally add-on free. Not to mention...
Absolutely. It's so crazy how many options need to be on by default because new players don't get it. I think this and sticky targeting should be, like, sticky targeting is the default. I think it should be taken away, but maybe that's just me. But target of target needs to be baseline, 100%.
Right, nameplates are now on. From here on out, I'm gonna actually be able to see all the enemy health bars outside of the selected mob that I'm currently fighting. Thank you so much for telling me to turn that on. I actually have a memory
nameplates,
from
it's
very
so
early
crazy.
on in my playthrough where I think I accidentally hit V on my keyboard, turning nameplates on, but I was still so new to the
Same, everyone. Imagine he discovers Shift V. Now we can see friendly names too.
Game back then that I kind of thought, oh, that looks so cluttered, I don't like that, and then I just started mashing my keyboard until I hit something that turned them back off. But now I totally see the value.
You don't have to play with nameplates, by the way. If you want to fully immerse yourself, I actively recommend you won't. Like, truly, if you just want to solo it out, you want to play it, great. Like, just play without nameplates. I do this from time to time. It completely immerses me inside of the game. But whenever I'm trying to pay attention on stream, it's, like, very difficult to keep track on chat and the game itself and all that stuff. So nameplate obviously do help, but you don't have to play with them. If you're playing alone and you just want to immerse yourself, you can definitely take them off.
In actually knowing how much health every enemy has, thank you very much for telling me to turn them back on. It's things like this that make me want to make sure my playthrough isn't completely blind. Without your help, I would have missed out on so much of this game, including, holy hell, World of Warcraft has fishing. When you guys told me that fishing was another secondary skill I could pick up, I had no choice. I'm a skiller through and through, so I naturally dropped everything I was working on just
It becomes
to try
better
and
in
max
Wrath of
out
the
my
Lich King,
fishing
though.
ASAP. I spent an hour or so in Elwyn Forest, leveling from 1 to 75, before then heading over to Red Ridge, grinding out some more. Gosh, there is something about this kind of grind in a game that just gets me going. I don't know what it is I love so much, but getting to slowly progress toward improving a skill that takes hours to grind out, but feeling accomplished as you put in the kind of time that other players might not have the patience for, and being rewarded with more unlocks for all the effort you put in. That's what MMOs are all about, at least in my book, and it makes me so happy every time I discover a new system in WoW that lets me do something like that outside of the basic combat and total level. I also love when you get to do grinds like this alongside other players, chatting as each one of you works toward your own separate goals. This night elf was super cool too. We just chilled outside this dock fishing for about an hour or so before they eventually had to leave, but before they left, they DM'd me saying that they had seen my videos and liked my series, which was really sweet. I gotta mention that actually, so many of you guys have seen me log into game and sent me nice DMs, and I don't know how to turn DMs off, so I've just been reading through every single comment, but they're all so nice. I've even gotten in-game mail from you too, which not only has included more nice comments encouraging me to keep the series going, but you guys also haven't even tried to spoil my playthrough by sending me gold or useful items or something like that. You've just been sending me cool things like a spyglass I can use to see stuff super far away, or a little...
I remember when people used to do that to me. Now they just call me brown guy. That's crazy. Damn, I wish I was more popular so I can enjoy such things. I love interacting with my community. You guys never send me good stuff. You just laugh at me.
Parrot?
Shame on you.
I realize there's pets in this game. WoW just keeps impressing me every time I log in. It is insane how good this game is at distracting you from whatever you're working toward. I mean, I was fully prepared to put the entire series on hold until I got 300 fishing, but by the time I hit 150, the fishing trainer in Red Ridge said that I had to go to some place called Darrowshire to continue leveling. I don't know where that is, but that gives us another good goal to add to our series. Make sure we find wherever the hell Darrowshire is so I can max my fishing and get the skill cape. But of course, our biggest goal of the series, as set out in last episode, is to find a new story to care about each episode, the way we care about the Defias Brotherhood narrative that hooked me so hard all the way back at the start. And today's an exciting moment because we can finally continue that narrative. We've already learned quite a bit of history in how the leaders of the Alliance hired the stonemasons to rebuild Stormwind many years ago, but when the corrupt House of Nobles refused to let the city pay any of the workers, they were all but forced to leave, broke and seeking vengeance.
Classic.
This is what spawned the Defias Brotherhood gang, who were plotting to destroy the capital in retribution before we plunged into the Dead Mines, slaying their leader, Edwin Van Cleef. After meeting up with Edwin's childhood friend to learn more about what was going on,
Alliance has always been the bad guys. Van Cleef was right. Why do you think I play Horde? Horde were never bad. You have a problem? Mak'gora. Your wife's yelling at you? Mak'gora. Your kid is being a little shit? Mak'gora. There you go. You just solved every single problem in the universe in the simplest way possible.
We were told to look for Basil Thread, Van Cleef's lieutenant, who was currently being held
Drop
in the
that flag, homie.
stockades.
Exactly.
I then learned the stockades are the second dungeon I'm going to encounter in-game, and honestly, I am so hyped to run through it. Not only does this dungeon
the
mark
Horde
the
just
next
square
step
up
in the Grand Defias narrative that we're following, and not only is this coming off the heels of Dead Mines, which already set my expectations sky high for how good the dungeons in this game will be, but as I began running around the various human zones, grinding out levels to get prepared for stockades, I kept bumping into additional NPCs that were giving me more quests for this dungeon that made it all the more exciting. One guard in Red Ridge told me an orc named Targor the Dread is being held there, as he was apparently sentenced to be executed until a mysterious noble stepped in, putting a hold on his sentencing, leaving us to go in and finish the job ourselves. Then there was a council person in Duskwood who told me they too had sentenced a person to death, Dextrin Ward, who was caught selling bodies from the cemetery to Morbent Fell until the House of Nobles again put a hold on his execution.
Wait, it's kind of
Lastly,
sussy.
I ran into a poor lady in Stormwind who was bereaved as her grandson was a guard in the stockades that had been reprimanding some Defias prisoners who then murdered him in response, begging me to go in and slay some more Defias for revenge. The fact I was already so hyped to dive into the dungeon, and then the game kept giving me more mysterious narratives that were apparently all going to converge when I dove in. It just did such a good job of getting me excited. I even turned down a free shortcut. At one point, while I was selling some stuff at the auction house, a random person DM'd me asking if I wanted a free boost through the stockades, since apparently he was practicing learning how to boost people. That
already
kind of sounds a little bit like cheating to me. I don't know what WoW players think about this. If boosting each other is allowed, maybe it's fine. But regardless,
it's certainly not a contentious point. Don't even worry about it. Don't even check into it. But personally, I'm not against this being a part of the game. I just wouldn't use this myself.
I turned him down. If Stockades was just a random room where I had to kill a few elite mobs, then I might accept some help from a higher level player. But the game had done such a good job of building tension, signaling to me that this was going to be an exciting turning point in the story, so I wanted to experience it naturally. Also, side note, I have seen all the comments you guys have been leaving in recent videos telling me WoW's community isn't as nice as I think it is, but I just want to take this opportunity to...
No, he needs to discover this for himself. Like, don't do this. Don't do this. Guys, we gotta open his eyes slowly.
You're all wrong. Even the cheaters in this game are nicer than the normal players I've seen in every other game I've played. This is an amazing community.
One run of Mythic Plus, his entire channel is going to be dedicating to hating Blizzard. Guys, one run of Mythic Plus. Mark my words.
Anyway, all that being said, we have finally
He's still learning. He's learning the ropes.
To dive into the stockades and see everything for ourselves. I'm pretty sure I picked up all of the additional quests I can do, and seeing as I'm in the upper echelon of recommended levels, I should have no problem running it even if I have to tank again as a warrior. So I head over to the stockades where I learn from the warden that apparently a riot has broken out under Basil Thread's command, making it a bit difficult for us to speak with him. That's where the dungeon part of this comes in. It is my job, as ushered by the warden, to go into the prison and quell the riots, slaying Basil and returning with his head. So I start looking for a group, which doesn't take too long to fill out. And as I wait, I'm just getting all the more excited sitting here, watching these guards prepare for the threat lurking beneath, seeing that there's a body of another player lying around. Gosh, can the riot actually break out of the dungeon? This is looking so hype. We finally fill the group. I'm the tank, and I run in, guns a-blazing.
Not enough range. Need more range.
Damn. A good old experience. He's been disarmed.
I need more. Not enough range. Need more range.
Okay,
Brother.
To be honest, this dungeon was disappointing. I'm sorry if this is a bad take or something.
Yeah, I knew it. I waited for him to say it. Everyone kind of hates the stockades. Personally, for me, I actually kind of like it. It's a very simple dungeon. I love the fact listen, most of the dungeons in Classic are huge, they're confusing, you can get lost, and that's the charm of them. But, I don't know, I like the simplicity for once. It's not supposed to be difficult. It is literally inside of Stormwind City. It's a jail. What are you going to do? Like, you're going to turn it into a maze? It just feels out of place. So no, the stockades being fairly straightforward and simple. You just walk in a straight line. You enter a few cells. It makes sense. I love it. Yeah, I kind of like it too. Exactly. I mean, simplicity, sometimes it's a good thing. It breaks the monotony, and I just loved it. It was great. I didn't think it was too bad. In Cataclysm, it was way more fun because you get to kill Hogger again.
Maybe I'm about to besmirch a beloved classic dungeon.
Yeah, it's
that
ultra
WoW players
basic.
Adore, but
also, it's very quick, in and out, just 20 minutes adventure. Like, great. Just great. Very fun to tank as a paladin, too.
Docs felt nowhere near as good as I thought it would be. For all the hype the game built, telling me that I was about to put an end to all these mysterious problems the House of Nobles was causing, where I was supposed to fight and execute all of these notorious enemies of the Alliance who presumably were powerful forces to be reckoned with, there was none of that to be found here. Like, the Deadmines by comparison had this whole narrative arc to it, where I was sent delving deeper and deeper underground, first through the mining tunnels before entering some huge goblin smelting room, before then getting the grand reveal of this huge underground cavern and Van Cleef's weapon of mass destruction he was about to use to destroy Stormwind. The stockade!
But the Deadmines had such a huge build-up. They had such a huge build-up, and this dungeon, truly, there's a reason why people still think that Deadmines to this day, it's one of the best WoW dungeons ever. Like, there's a reason for that. And it's because it had everything. It had lore, impact, the layout was crazy good. I mean, people loved every single thing about it. It was incredible, truly.
It didn't have any of that. It was just rooms with guys inside. None of the NPCs
sometimes
were
you have that
particularly
too.
tough to take down. I didn't even notice if any of them had special mechanics I was supposed to be playing around. And there certainly wasn't any kind of grand narrative I noticed. I mean, it was just a bunch of open cells with bad guys to kill. Not only that, but the ceiling in the actual dungeon itself was super low. So I even had trouble moving the camera around to see everything I was supposed to kill with all the tight corridors I had to go down to make sure we eliminated every NPC inside.
I actually really love that. It made the entire dungeon feel personal. I think that was great. Again, you don't need every single dungeon in a game to be completely open like Meridon. Even though Meridon is like my all-time favorite dungeon. Like I love Meridon so much because of it. But it's okay. Like you're allowed to have something different. And I'm glad that Blizzard actually tried to do something different.
At least it didn't seem that difficult. I mean, we made it through without any issues and killed Basil alongside all the other bad guys I was told to take down. Except one of the quests the Warden gave me to kill a bunch of Defias Brotherhood involved slaying 8 Defias convicts, but only 4 of them spawned in the entire dungeon. I have to run it again if I want to complete this quest. Oh
what?
God. This was my first real
that
disappointment
never happened
in
to me.
classic World of Warcraft. I'm sorry to say. The game built so much hype for this dungeon, tying it to a big narrative, throwing all these additional mystery quests into it as well. It made me so hyped and built all this excitement that grew and grew until I was on the edge. But then it just stopped. There was no satisfying payoff. I kind of hated it. And hilariously enough, this was not the only disappointment I was about to experience in this episode, as I said in the intro. In hindsight, it's kind of insane that Classic was about to hand me one disappointment after another in pretty quick succession. But don't worry, by the end of the episode, even these disappointments are going to turn into an element of Classic that I weirdly kind of appreciate, although we're still a very long way off from that. For now, I was just frustrated. I felt a little bitter, like there was a bad taste in my mouth, and I wanted to go experience some quest or narrative that wouldn't leave me wanting at the end. But thankfully, I had just...
That's fair. His takes are fair. You know, that's why I like watching his videos so much. It just gives you a fresh perspective from new eyes, because we're old, right? We're already used to all of that stuff. So it's really great to see someone new actually trying the game and gives his opinion of it. But I think the stockades will grow on him. That being said, I cannot wait until he actually reaches like Scarlet Monastery and stuff. Like, that would be insanely good.
The idea, if there was any quest line I knew that couldn't possibly end on a dumb cliffhanger, it was finishing the Defias narrative and finally figuring out what was going on with all the corruption in Stormwind. After defeating Basil and reporting back to the Warden, he thanked me for quelling the uprising before letting a bit of information slip. Apparently, a few months ago, a mysterious figure started visiting Basil about once or twice a week. This man, who went by the name Malik, may be the next clue in uncovering whatever plot is going on. I take the name and a brief description of the figure back to Barrows Alexton, who doesn't recognize him, but he sends me to Matthias Shaw of SI7, who does. It turns
it's
out
that
Malik
long
is actually a
quest.
fellow assassin named Marzone, who's currently employed by Lord Gregor Leskovar, a notoriously corrupt member of Stormwind's House of Nobles, corrupt even by House of Nobles standards. Matthias is curious about what Marzone and Leskovar are doing and sends me off to another rogue, Elling Trias, who currently is undercover at a nearby food shop as a master of cheese. So I relay the story to him, and he tells me that we can divvy out some less than legal justice to both Leskovar and Marzone. I just need to meet up with his agent, a gnome named Tyrion, in Stormwind Keep. So far, this story has basically just been a long game of telephone.
Oh god. Wait, is this the quest you have to wait in line for 2 hours until that chicken spawns? Is that the one? Oh my days. Oh god. Okay, no. This man is going to suffer.
playing errand boy, running messages from one NPC to another.
Gnome
which would be
named
kind of
Tyrion.
annoying or tedious normally, but I actually kind of like it here. This doesn't feel like a typical boring message delivery quest nearly as much as it feels like I'm slowly uncovering this grand conspiracy that's larger than any one person and requires a massive network of people to even attempt to take down. Anyway, I head up north to the big cathedral in the city center by Barrows Alexton's house because I thought that big church in the middle of the city was Stormwind Keep, where all the rulers and important people were. But on rereading the quest dialogue as well as the street signs, I realize that is not the case. Stormwind Keep is actually this massive castle overlooking Old Town that I somehow never noticed. Talk about missing something right in front of my face. As I head to the keep, I immediately get flashbacks to my retail experience where I was sent here when I got to meet up with Jaina Proudmoore and Anduin Wrynn, kicking off my big fun adventure through Kol Tiras. So I'm actually getting pretty hyped again. This building is clearly where a bunch of big important stuff is always going down.
Yeah, but instead of crybabies, you actually have base gigachads in there. Tyrion Fordring, brother. Don't ever mispronounce his name.
I then notice on my minimap there's a quest marker
On
guiding me
Nixia
over
buff.
to a little garden inside the keep where my contact Tyrion is hiding behind a brush. After relaying the story for the upteenth time, Tyrion lays out a plan that he and Elling had been working on involving a little spy bot. I just need to get a few more
Champion,
items
push
before
me.
I disguise.
Khadgar.
So I head off to get some silk and apples, which again might seem like an unimaginative fetch quest, but because it's tied to this grand story, it's just building more hype for me. Any disappointment that I felt coming off Stockades has completely left my body, as I can't wait to put an end to Stormwind's corruption once and for all. After
Surely,
some searching,
yes.
I find the required items before
Of course.
returning to my contact, who lets another part of the story slip. Apparently, Tyrion and Elling had already been investigating Lescavar for an unrelated connection to something called the Twilight's Hammer they believed he had, not even knowing he also had ties to the Defias Brotherhood. Either way, now is the time for him to face justice. Tyrion will use the items I brought to disguise his spy bot, who will then go and lure Lescavar out into this garden. The Lord should then dismiss the guards.
Oh, yeah, I knew it was this quest. Oh, God. Oh, this is such a horrifying quest. My
after,
days.
So he can meet with Marzone, at which point I'll have the opportunity to attack.
Yeah,
seeing
it was
both of
so
them. I
annoying.
just need to stay hidden until the time is right, at which point the gnome will give me the signal. I'm a little nervous about this plan.
I think he got
because
lucky.
As a warrior, I always have trouble fighting more.
Yeah, he got lucky. He didn't have like 700 people waiting in line for this. He actually got extremely lucky. Maybe he played like at a morning or something. Wow, crazy. I mean, that's the bonus of being unemployed. If you do this on like peak hours, you're cooked.
More than one enemy at a time, and I don't know what level each one of them will be.
But you can party
it's
after
too late
this.
to back out now. The spybot is transformed into some noble lady who goes into the library to meet with Lescavar while I hide out in the garden.
They had AI women before we did.
It seems to take a while, and I wonder what's going on in there when I notice there's a quest dot marker on my minimap. I thought I was supposed to stay hidden, but maybe I misunderstood. Maybe I need to go in and watch a cutscene or interact with something to continue the narrative, so I decide to run in. Oh wait, no, that's the quest to deliver the library book from earlier. Shoot, my bad. I run back out and hide in the bushes again, very happy to see I apparently did not ruin our plan, as the Lord comes out shortly after, dismissing the guards so he can meet with the assassin. Marzone shows up shortly after to inform Lescavar that Van Cleef sends word about their plans being underway, although someone's been snooping about. And before I have time to realize he's talking about me, I'm ordered by Tyrion to put an end to all of this. And oh gosh, they're level 30 and 31. There's no way I can actually do this, right? Do I ruin the whole plan if I die here? I quickly run in and begin trying to take them down, and thankfully I have one of my more important abilities up, Retaliation. This is a pretty wild warrior skill that puts a shield of swords around me that instantly counterattack all enemies that hit me in melee range for 15 seconds, or for a maximum of 30 counterattacks. What makes this ability so wild, though, is that it has a 30-minute cooldown. I thought Flash in League of Legends having a 3-minute cooldown was absurd. How does WoW have abilities that are so important and powerful that can only be used once every half hour? That's kind of amazing.
Because you actually had to use your brain back in the day. You couldn't pop off your cooldown like that. Nowadays in retail, you can do it whenever and it resets. But back in the day, you couldn't. And that was the beauty of it. You saved retaliation for a dire case situation, which 99% of the time never came, and you could have just used it regardless. But on moments like these, oh man, it feels so good.
The fight is really close. I managed to take one of them down and nearly died doing so, but managed to scrape by alive thanks to retaliation. And luckily, I have a health potion on me that allows
Always
me to
having a
heal
health
up
potion
just
on you.
enough that I can also slay the other foe too. I actually have no
Actually
idea
soloed
how
them.
I did this. I was only level 28, but I'm so glad I managed to take them both down. If all that buildup left me unable to complete the quest and I just died or something, I would have been so sad. But it looks like we are finally getting a payoff. The noble and assassin are now dead, and I'm sent back off to Elling to deliver the good news. He then bounces me back to Matthias, where I report the two enemies' demise, where the rogue assures me I just did the people of Stormwind a great favor, even though I'm actually feeling a little bit hollow inside. I mean, that one noble wasn't the main source of all the corruption in Stormwind, right? Have I actually solved anything by killing him? Matthias warns me not to tell
never
anyone
do.
I was the person who killed the noble, as if to confirm my suspicions before sending me back to Alexston. But any worries in the back of my mind fly right out the window as Barros Alexston tells me he's giving me a report to take to the king, telling me to deliver it to Stormwind Keep, informing him of everything that's occurred.
Oh, the seal of
with the
Rin. You get that
Defias and
ring.
House of
Yeah, it's
Nobles
so good.
Personally. This is so cool. I don't think I've seen a king in the Warcraft universe since Arthas succeeded his father all the way back in Reign of Chaos. For all the adventuring I've done so far, I didn't even realize
To be fair, Arthas is the only one true king.
there was a king.
I
in
accept no
Stormwind
one
Keep.
else.
When I went to do my mission, the quest shot me over to the garden and library, leaving me blissfully unaware I had just missed out on seeing the throne room right ahead. The report seems like a good summary of everything that's occurred so far. Maybe this is where the story can finally resolve, where the stonemasons can be paid reparations and everything can get wrapped up in a nice tidy bow. So I'm giddy as I
Stormwind paying reparation. That's a good one. That's a good one. Only the innocent of WoW youth would think like that. Damn, that's crazy. Could you imagine? Maybe this guy is not too horde-pilled for that. Oh, Jim Walpus, thank you. Thank you so much for the donation. I'm in your walls. Oh shit, not again.
take the report and run straight for the keep.
Come on.
This time heading straight down the hall, ready to meet whoever the ruler of all the land is. But then
Anixia. Oh shit, he doesn't know that yet. Wait, the spoilers.
where's the king? I thought he was supposed to be here. It's not this kid, right? Okay, so in the center of the throne room, there's some general guy,
It is?
some noble lady, and a boy.
Bro, look. Look at him. Look at his model. It's so good. It's so good. He looks like a brat kid. Oh my god. Yeah, all the model is perfect, man. They nailed it. It's so good. What are those? Look at his big ass feet. I bet whenever he runs it sounds like an orchestra. Oh my god, it's so good. No, it's actually so good. And the funniest thing is he's standing next to Gigachad Bolvar with like his insanely cool looking armor. Like, it's so funny. Also, Onyxia. Woo! Ooh wee! I mean, wait, in which form is she hotter? This or the other one? I don't know. I'm still contemplating.
Who is the king for now, I
Kingdom
guess?
Hearts
I
shoes.
actually recognize the kid, Anduin Wrynn. That's the guy who eventually becomes the king of Stormwind. I saw him when I tried retail, and the game kicked off with
Yeah.
that big cinematic of him crying in The War Within.
Classic.
But he can't be the king now, right? There's no way he's who I'm supposed to deliver this report to. My quest marker tells me to speak to Lady Katrana Prestor, an important
Bro, did he have a unibrow, or I'm just like imagining things? Like, what is this? There is no split. It's just one continuous line. Or maybe I'm just dogpiling on him. You know, okay, forgive me. I got a little bit sidetracked.
looking person who's kind of a jerk, just glaring at me for no reason. I hand her the report and she says I should be commended for my work. If Van Cleef had been successful, he would have done considerable harm to the kingdom, something that should be obviously avoided. Okay, what the hell
prince
with
is
this
wearing
terrible
khaki
writing?
shorts.
The writing in WoW has been so good up until now, but suddenly this lady is speaking in the dumbest, most stilted way possible. And not only that, she also tells tells me the king is apparently away on a diplomatic mission and isn't returning for some time.
It's so good that he doesn't know. It's perfect. Oh, I bet his mind is going to be blown whenever he reach BRD, like Blackrock Depths. Man, it's going to be crazy. If he actually will read every single thing in Blackrock Depths, including the crumpled up note, his mind is going to be blown. He's going to connect all the dots by himself. It's going to be glorious. It's going to be so good.
So she has to be the one to give me this ring as a token of
I really hope he won't get
all my
spoiled.
hard work. I mean, the ring is awesome. It's a really great upgrade compared to anything else I had, but that's it? Is that really the end of the story? There's no follow-up quest? That can't actually be the grand finale, can it? What about the stonemasons? What about the rest of the corruption in the city? The game just got me so hyped to see the king, but he's not even here. That's a whole new mystery I don't even know how to solve. Once again, World of Warcraft built up this exciting hype narrative just to yank a satisfying conclusion out from under me a second time. I was left on edge again. The game keeps edging me. Now, I'm left with more questions than answers. I guess when it comes to our goal of finding a story to care about each episode, I technically did that here. I definitely cared about this story, and I care about finding a way to finish it because I refuse to believe that's the end. But I can't stop playing now. That can't be how the video ends. I just got hit with 2 awful disappointments back to back. I need something satisfying to cleanse my palate. That's why at this point I made a resolution that I would not stop playing World of Warcraft or wrap this video up until I found something that gave me a satisfying narrative payoff. Either that or until I find Darrowshire so I can get back to fishing. But
we got him, boys. We got him. We got him good. He's officially a classic Andy. Thank God. We got him.
Unfortunately, things were gonna somehow get even worse from here on out. Okay, so the first thing I did was just open up my quest log, trying to find as many tasks as possible to knock
all
out
of the
one
green
after
quests.
another, hoping that one of them would end up with a satisfying climax. Seeing as I was still here in Stormwind for the time being, I figured maybe the first task should be to knock out that last Stockades quest I never got to finish. Yeah, I don't know why I thought that a second run of Stockades would lead to anything other than more disappointment. This one was even worse. I had to sit around for like half an hour just trying to find a group that wanted to run the dungeon legit, since apparently everyone gets boosted through this one. Eventually, I did find a group and we ran the dungeon, no problem, but obviously there wasn't really anything special of note here, just killing the same bad guys in the same boring dungeon.
What? He keeps mentioning Darrowshire. He's not a new player. He's faking pretty well. He's not faking, dude. Like, I knew this guy videos from before. He's like a League player, I think. It's like, no, he's not faking. He's being legitimately real.
And this quest didn't even have any kind of follow-up. It was just a nice chunk of XP as a reward.
Yeah, and you need to understand, like, people constantly spoil him, and he did sometime check a few things online, so maybe he was, like, spoiled a little bit. But yeah, like, he's genuine. He's being genuine about it.
One exciting thing that did happen this time around was I managed to get my first neck slot item, the Basalt Necklace of the Bear, which seems pretty good for my level. With how disappointing everything else had been, this drop felt like Christmas morning when I got it. After finally
at least
being
you have
freed
that.
from the last of my quests in the Stockades, I tried to think about where else I could go to find a storyline that had more great narrative potential, and I did have one idea. Earlier on in my playthrough, when I first set foot in the wetlands, I ran into a dwarven mining party up on the side of a cliff who were excavating something when they got trapped by dinosaurs.
Oh,
as cool
this
as the
area.
dinosaurs were, I cut this quest.
Dude, this area is such a nightmare to navigate through. All of the different levels you had to climb. I hate that. It's the kill infinite raptor amount quest, right?
Line from last
And then you have the big one.
episode, since it seemed like a relatively simple issue of just slaying some mobs and getting some XP as a reward. But then I remembered one of the notes I had to carry calling for help from Menethil Harbor mentioned that the mining team had excavated some Titan artifacts, which is what caused the raptors to begin swarming them. Which, if I remember my lore correctly, aren't the Titans basically the gods of WoW? Like Sargeras was a Titan who created the Burning Legion, right? That's definitely something I could sink my teeth into. I'm a huge lore nerd when it comes to in-universe mythologies like this. When I was a kid, I probably...
Damn, he's gonna love retail, though. though, because the universe is ending every single expansion.
Worshipped Gothics so much back in RuneScape that I broke the first commandment. If you ever wondered why I quit RuneScape around the time of RS3, now you know. So I ran up to the
Does
wetlands
RuneScape has
seeing
good
if there was
story?
any kind of follow-up quest I missed, because
I never
a
heard
big
anything about
epic
it.
adventure uncovering god artifacts is the exact kind of quest line that would make for a satisfying finale to the video, except I couldn't find anything.
How far is he from the discs of Anorganon and Uldaman? That's the question. I don't really remember. I think that's gonna blow his mind.
Maybe I'm not a high enough level for whatever quest comes next, or maybe this was just a one-off thing with nothing more to do. But either way, this was a brick wall. At this point, I just tried to go process of elimination and began knocking out as many quests as I could do in an attempt to find something worthwhile. And I did eventually run into one interesting bright spot. Later on, I went back to Red Ridge to do what I thought was my last quest in the zone, one telling me to slay 15 Blackrock champions in a camp north of Lakeshire, when I ran into a lost human NPC, Corporal Keishan. I recognized this name. When I first
the
set foot
escort
in
mission.
Red Ridge, I saw there were two signs outside of the inn, one that gave me a quest to kill Lieutenant Fangor, while the other seemed to just be a note saying that a local corporal had gone missing. This sign for the corporal didn't have any quest attached to it, so I thought it was just flavor, something Blizzard.
Bro, I didn't even know that. Wow. Dude, I really wished I played Classic without Questy. I think I just, like, screwed myself. But that being said, I did play with a friend who was, like, an all-time World of Warcraft vanilla enjoyer. Like, literally, he played original vanilla as a kid. So, I kind of had to follow his footsteps. And it was the best time of my life, so I'm not going to complain. But, man, now, watching him, I feel like I'm getting an experience I've never gotten to before. That's awesome, dude. Like, I love it. His videos are the greatest thing in the WoW world ever. Like, thank God.
Added to the world to emphasize the dire state that Red Ridge found itself in. But no, there actually was a Corporal Keishan up here in this cave, and he gave me a quest to escort him back to Red Ridge safely. Now, this certainly wasn't a disappointment. It was genuinely cool the way that this quest was given to me, and I had another great community interaction with a guildmate and a stranger who helped me complete it. But even this was kind of a disappointment narratively speaking, because it wasn't some grand adventure I was tasked to go on. It was just a simple escort mission.
But that's the fun part. I mean, you just help the little guy. You help the common folks. I mean, how many quests in Elven Forest are that important? They're not. You just go around and you kill kobolds. So, it's just fun. Like, that was the beauty of Classic. You got to help the little guy. You were part of the world. You weren't the champion of Azeroth. You weren't you weren't a big shot. You were just being you. And that was the beauty of it. So I'm actually surprised he kind of said that here. But maybe he's too stockade pilled at the moment to enjoy the little stuff. I do understand that.
Although if I thought that was bad, it was about to get even worse. My brain must have just been broken at this point.
I never watched
one
Day 9
disappointment
playing
after
WoW
the
for the
next,
first time.
Because for some reason, I thought maybe it would be exciting if I returned that lost library book I had in my inventory. As I made my way back to Stormwind, I also found a guy in the Cathedral Town Center who apparently needed a book checked out from the library too, as he's about to give some...
Bro, why every Alliance human is, like, bald? I don't get it. Like, what in God's name is this? Now that I pay attention through his gameplay, it just drives me nuts. Like, every single one of them, of the NPCs, is bald. Like, why? Like, couldn't you give them a little bit of hair?
Speech on metallurgy or something and could use it to assist him. Perfect. Those are two great, very exciting grand adventures. So I go to Stormwind Keep, turning in the lost library book and finding out the book that the speech guy needs is currently on loan to Northshire Abbey. Of course, that means I have to run all the way from Stormwind to Northshire, since there is no flight point to Elwyn Forest.
You planning to react to the new Necrid vid today? There is a new Necrid vid. I'll watch it, maybe.
Ink, and he's all out of Wrathbane ore he needs, so I have to run all the way to Red Ridge to pick some up. When I reach Red Ridge, the guy whose job it is to have Wrathbane ore doesn't have any Wrathbane ore, meaning I have to go deep into a cavern to acquire some, before then running all the way back to Elwyn to trade the ore for the book, and then running all the way back to Stormwind to finally complete the quest chain. This was for the grand reward of receiving some caster boots that...
Thank you, Jinx, for arriving to the stream once again to tell us that Holly Longdale should be fired. Once again, for the 100th time, you're goddamn right.
might have been as useless as anything I could have
needs to
gotten
get
at
the
this
boot.
point. Okay, as annoyed as I was, there actually was one really cool thing about this quest I loved. The fact that I could have gotten the Rethban ore I needed from this cavern by either mining the mining nodes or by getting it from drops through killing mobs, that was actually really awesome. That meant there were multiple solutions to this puzzle, one involving basic combat, but one that allowed me to completely bypass combat if I wanted to through having a certain profession. That was really cool to see. This quest kind of felt like it was an immersive sim or something. Am I playing World of Warcraft or Deus Ex here? But that aside, talk about a disappointing anticlimactic quest line. I had to run on foot through all these regions just to do busy work that seemed so mundane and trivial. Actually, looking back on it now, all of these disappointments I've had in Classic WoW have basically been because of that. I thought I was a big, important adventurer braving epic quests.
Nope.
But so many of the quests I run into keep me feeling small. The Stockades wasn't a grand narrative where I got to solve mysteries. It was just a typical prison riot that I had to put down without much fanfare. The Defias conclusion didn't make me feel like a hero. As big as that story was, I was kept small, given very simple tasks to do, with the one heroic thing being something I'm not even allowed to talk about, all for an ending that seemingly went over my head. Everything else too. The wetlands discovery felt like a grand narrative, but one I'm apparently not allowed to take part in yet. Corporal Keishan's rescue was a simple escort mission that felt more like his story than mine. And running around for ages to find a library book, that's perhaps the least heroic thing I've done in my entire playthrough. But you know what? This is the moment that either my brain completely broke from all the disappointing buildups, or I realized this is kind of genius. See, the one theme that tied all these disappointments together was...
I was scared for a second. We were going to lose him into retail. We got him. We yanked him back in, boys. He's ours. One of us.
That they made me feel small or like...
Oh, shit. Wait, what? Dude, what, bruh. What the hell? You see, Blizzard immediately intervenes and, like, try to turn this man into retail stuff.
Wasn't the protagonist.
Shameless.
I'm getting to peek at grand narratives.
The hell was that?
Ones where I get to be a leading man. Most of the time, I'm treated like a helpful but replaceable person who's given tasks that anyone might be able to accomplish. And as much as that kept me feeling small,
yeah, his League videos are also insanely good. I watched them.
The world feel all the more big. This actually gets at the heart of a problem MMOs have always had, which is that MMOs, by their nature, want to have these grand, epic worlds with wild storylines they send players on. But how can you make the player a hero who comes along and saves the world when there are literally millions of other heroes just like them all around?
Thank you. Exactly. Holy shit. It's like Blizzard can't grasp this concept for some reason. You cannot be the hero of Azeroth. You can be... Like, that's why I hated Legion Artifact. I mean, I loved Legion Artifacts, mechanically speaking, but in terms of, like, immersion, it completely butchered the plot. Everyone has Ashbringers. It doesn't make any sense, right? Exactly. He hit the nail right on the head there.
RuneScape is a masterclass in how to still tell great epic stories in an MMO. I'm sorry to bring up RuneScape again. I keep talking about RuneScape in my WoW videos.
I need to try RuneScape.
If you've ever played old school RuneScape, you probably know the game has a running joke where all the NPCs openly acknowledge there are a bunch of annoying adventurers running around asking for quests. It's something so commonplace, it's clearly gotten on the nerves of most citizens in the world, and as a result, most NPCs refuse to give out quests or will only give players stupid little busy work that they can't be bothered to do. However, the game has still found a way to thread some huge world-defining narratives that include the player into major quest lines with a kind of funny trick. Namely, most of the bigger quest lines in the game start off when the player accidentally helps out a villain. For example, early on in the Elf quest line, players think that they're helping out the noble king of East Ardoin, who eventually sends you off to slay his brother as he tells you his brother is some evil foe causing havoc in the elven lands of Tiranan.
His name is King Karthus? Or did I just misread that?
To learn after you kill his brother that the king you're helping is trying to summon the Dark Lord, and his brother was one of the last people standing in his way. It makes sense then that after you messed everything up, the actual good guys show up, all but...
His name is Arian Wynn? Bro, are you kidding me?
demanding you assist
Dog,
them in correcting
nice
their mistake,
reference.
and then you can be sent down an epic world-defining quest line with huge adventures and major rewards. And this setup lets you have the best of both worlds. The logic of this being an MMO still works, since there can be thousands of other adventurers all running around alongside you. It's just that you were the only one dumb enough to help the bad guy almost cause the end of the world. But with this setup, it still lets the player go on epic quests where they get to be a protagonist and forever change the physical land in a significant way. Obviously, I haven't really seen WoW use this setup of accidentally helping out a bad guy in my playthrough, but the trick that it's
Wait, he played through Darkshire. Did he forget already? You literally summoned, Patches. That was his name, right? The big blobby guys? Like, you were the villain. You actually helped the crazed alchemist collecting all of the stuff he needed to make sure this patchwork actually comes into life and absolutely butchering everyone. So that's not true. Interesting, we saw his video on it. Maybe forgotten.
Using might be just as genius. Namely, World of Warcraft is refusing to treat me like I'm the main character of every story. I need to grind out some of the more boring, kill a few dozen of this kind of mob type quests before I'm trusted to play a larger part in a more important quest line, and even then, I'm more of a supporting actor in most of these narratives. For example, starting off in Elwyn Forest, I had a ton of quests I had to do that were just guards telling me to help them kill kobolds or Defias bandits before I was ever trusted to do anything slightly more important. This works for the logic of the game, since these guards are telling all the adventurers like me to go and help push back these hostile mobs, but since through the logic of the game, I'm special in that I've actually helped a significant amount, it makes sense that they would start trusting me with more responsibility, eventually so much so that I can help the People's Militia of Westfall try and take down the Defias in Moonbrook. This still allows WoW to have these grand narratives with epic adventures and conspiracies and events going on all across the world, while not breaking the illusion that there are thousands of other players experiencing them at the same time, like me. And in that context, you know, these disappointments kind of make the game even better because they make the world feel all the more big. The wetlands quests and rescuing Kishin and even finding that dumb library book all reinforced that I'm just a small person in a big world where other factions and NPCs are experiencing their own narratives that I can typically only assist in as a small helper. Stockades being nothing more than a simple prison riot also reinforced that I'm still a random adventurer with no special status.
He's
when I
getting
showed up
it.
at the stockades, the warden thought I was just as likely to be an accomplice to the riot as much as I was some hero meant to solve everyone's problem. And as disappointing as it was to not meet the king at the end of the Defias quest line, that certainly made me feel like there was so much more going on.
Well, I mean, technically, you have met him. It's just that you don't really care about him.
In the world that I haven't even discovered,
Don't worry.
expanding Azeroth in my mind
And technically, he also met the Lich King because he was standing next to him.
and making me all the more excited to see what else
But
is
that's
out
for
there.
future
I
stuff.
don't know. Maybe this is all just
Don't mind
coping
that.
from how
Oh shit, Jinx, thank you so much for the donation, man. Wow, you really don't have to, man. Like, you can just type in chat, I'll read it. Do you think Blizzard will ever bring back masculinity? Where is WoW in 2 years, in your opinion? Will Blizzard bring back masculinity? Most likely not. I think they're too ideology captured to do so, unfortunately. And where's World of Warcraft in 2 years? Well, first, Classic Plus will come out, so I guess it's just a matter of we have to wait and see where they will take it. Personally, if they learned anything from Turtle WoW, most people will play Classic Plus and pay for it because Turtle WoW was insanely good. The question is, how are they going to improve on it? And I don't think they will do good because Blizzard clearly only care about money, and you're going to have WoW token and pre-ordered mount day one inside of Classic Plus, unfortunately. I say this with a heavy heart.
Pointing the stockades was, but I genuinely think that any fantasy open world needs to keep the protagonist feeling small so the world can stay big. I mean, I've always assumed
Exactly.
that's why J.R.R. Tolkien made the protagonists in The Lord of the Rings hobbits, people who are literally smaller compared to almost everything else out in Middle-earth. WoW has done a really good job of keeping me humble in that same sort of way, even though I'm nearly nearly halfway to max level now, I've never been told that I'm some hero here to save the Alliance. I'm mostly a side character in other people's stories, with the disappointments I feel coming from the fact that I just don't get the kind of resolution I might expect. But thankfully, the kind of exciting story with a satisfying resolution I'm after does still exist in the world, and I'm about to run into one right around the corner.
Base, and not only that he's right, I kind of want to add something on top of it, because he hasn't experienced it because he's playing Classic, thank God. I think for the reasons he mentioned, level scaling is completely trash in MMORPGs. And I always say that, and I will always advocate vehemently against level scaling for that exact reason, because it makes the world capitulate to your demands. And once you bring the world to its knees, the entire game is solved. You already won. You're the king of the universe, and there's no excitement whatsoever. When the game keeps you small and insignificant to a point where you can only build up from there, that way you will get way more gratification out of playing the game. Right now, retail feels like absolute crap to play, because you don't feel any impact whatsoever from the story. It's like, oh, you're the champion, okay, cool, push some turtles into the water, thanks, BFA truly, the best expansion out there. Same with Shadowlands, same with Auridan, same with Midnight, and same with Dragonflight, sorry, I almost skipped that one. Could you imagine? That's exactly what completely killed the game for me. It's just the inability of Blizzard to understand that we want to be small and insignificant and bunch ourselves with another hoodlums to create a much bigger problem than us.
The next area where I was sent searching for a big quest was Duskwood, and frankly, I should have just started my search here. This zone is so good. One of the narratives you guys mentioned I should follow up on is the
Wait, I think you already done that.
With the hermit Abercrombie. Back in episode 2, I'd been sent by Madame Ava to check on an old hermit living nearby the Ravenhill Cemetery.
Maybe I was wrong.
And upon meeting him, he seemed like a nice enough guy who asked me to...
Wait, his name was Abercrombie? Shit. Dude, I never even paid attention to that.
Run an errand or two, since an old man such as himself wouldn't be able to brave all the threats roaming around. The first of those errands was finding the ghost hair thread, which we got with the help of Madame Ava from the nearby ghost Blind Mary, but it turns out that is not the only thing he needs done. On returning with the hair, the hermit then asked me to go and find some ghoul ribs, which is where we last left off. And although this may just look like another fetch quest that is no different than all the others I'd picked up, I was about to see that there was more to this quest line than one might expect. I made my way back out to the Ravenhill Cemetery in the pouring rain, going around and slaying some ghouls to collect their ribs, and thankfully they are not dropped at the most annoying drop rate I've seen. Although one thing that is annoying is that some of these ghouls, when they die, they spawn these two tiny flesh eater things I have to kill, and I don't know how to select an enemy other than clicking on them, which can be tough to do because they're so small, and sometimes
it's called
tab
targeting for a reason.
Mobs. Thankfully, that annoyance only killed me once before I finished collecting the rest of the ribs, returning to the hermit, who then told me that all of this is for some effigy he's building. That sounds a little suspicious, but he's just a nice old guy. How much
Nah, that's fine. That's like your average Alliance player. It's okay. Don't look into it. It's completely fine.
Abercrombie then tells me a few weeks ago he was picking some herbs when a...
Yeah, it's like a horde player NPC asking you for 10 different bear asses. Just don't question it. Just give it to him, okay? He needs that.
And of ogres attacked, forcing him to drop an important crate of tools he had on his person before fleeing. He asks me to go find the crate, and I'm happy to do so, as it should be found in one of the last few areas I haven't explored in Duskwood yet, this ogre encampment to the south. Although, I also don't know what this big, mysterious center of the map is either. I should actually mention that whoever designed this region did a great job of laying out all the content. Each new quest line has unveiled some new part of the map for me, which has gradually painted a picture as to what's going on.
It is literally the best zone in World of Warcraft.
There's still this big, mysterious void that I haven't had a reason to go explore yet. It's really fitting that the most spooky and cursed region of the game so far has this weird, spooky spooky centerpiece on the map. Anyway, I head south to the ogres, and I'm kind of curious why ogres are here in Duskwood, spending a bit of time exploring their encampment, happy as it leads to finding some more mining nodes I can grab. I need to be catching up on my mining a little bit. I do manage to find one crate that at first I think is what I'm looking for, but then I realize it's just a food crate that has some healing items inside. It's a little annoying that I'm not getting the quest item I thought I was after, but
Man, listen, sorry for pausing constantly. Like, this guy, man, that's the best video of World of Warcraft I ever watched in my entire life. It's just, I love how Blizzard constantly spread it throughout the game, water and food crates, just for the player to just kind of immerse themselves and actually get to do something useful. I think that's really, really great. It was so fun. Even if you never use these, just the immersion aspect of it was so powerful for them to, for me to wish they kept them.
But again, I love seeing these little secret drops hidden around the world that reward exploration. I keep exploring, picking up some more mining nodes until I see a cave entrance, which I assume is the place that Abercrombie's crate is in. After fighting my way through a couple ogres, I have to pause, slightly shocked at how good the atmosphere is here. The dark red of the flames, the bones hanging from the ceiling. Blizzard sure as hell know how to build incredible atmosphere, even when they're so limited to what a computer can do graphically. This was all back in 2004.
And now all you have is rainbow flags and people with makeup. That's it. That's all you get. You get into a cave, and you know what? Unironically, it is scarier than this.
How did this game come out in 2004? That just blows me away every single episode. As I'm searching for the crate inside the cave, I grab some
Blizzard
more
is still the king for a reason.
When
WoW
a
is still
random
the king.
player trades me some resources, because again, the WoW community is the nicest in all of gaming. But after some more searching, I can't seem to find the crate, so I assume that
he gave him a precious gem
and head back out to look for it a second time. My second pass around the ogre encampment yields absolutely nothing though, so I then head back inside the cave again, only to still not find the crate. I feel like a bit of an idiot here. I mean, there aren't that many crate-like objects laying around, and I can't seem to figure out where it is. Part of me, though, does appreciate the fact it's not in some obvious location, because I actually have to search through all the rubbish on the ground that makes me notice and even appreciate the detail that some environmental artist at Blizzard put into crafting this part of the map all those years ago. Finally, I eventually stumble on the crate that was just outside the entrance to the cave I kept running in and out of.
Man, and there's no indication whatsoever it's actually there. You kind of have to go over with your mouse and just and just like do this like a madman. That's crazy. I love he actually plays this way. It's so refreshing.
To see when I was watching this,
he gets to actually enjoy the world.
Pass by it over and over. After getting Abercrombie's tools, I return to the hermit, delivering them, which seems to be the last big task. The hermit then seems very happy for some reason before giving me a note to go and take to the mayor of Darkshire. I head back to town to deliver the note, and as I've mentioned before, it's so cool that WoW
now he's about to find out
messages that NPCs tell you to deliver to one another, learning more about the story and lore of what's going on. So I'm pretty eager to open this one up. Then I see the letters on the note flicker and dance across its surface, making it impossible to glean any information. I did not expect that. Talk about subverting expectations. Now I'm suddenly a little bit worried that maybe whatever Abercrombie's up to isn't anything good. On showing the note to the mayor, he seems pretty confused, as he's never heard of this person and certainly can't read whatever the note's about. So he tells me to take the note to the Darkshire historian, who translates it and tells me apparently Abercrombie has done something unspeakable. Greetings, Mayor of Darkshire. I have grave news for your town. I fooled the bearer of this note into aiding me in my latest, most dire creation, a fiend of flesh and bone and twisted metal. As you read this, it's likely outside my humble dwelling, gnashing its teeth and waiting for my word to go forth and slaughter. But you'll know soon enough, the embalmer. Okay.
Damn.
Oops. I take the letter back to the mayor, and he promptly tells me that although I may have been motivated by kindness, I kind of just doomed the town. He then informs me the embalmer is the name of a person told in local folk tales.
Yeah, his wife
Apparently,
died, right?
He was a kind alchemist until he was driven mad by the death of his wife, Eliza.
Yeah, I remember that.
After attempting to restore her to life using dark magic, he placed his own heart inside his dead spouse, succeeding in bringing her back, but cursing her to be a zombie with a hunger for human flesh, forcing the embalmer to keep her buried deep in the earth. Okay, another pretty metal story here in Duskwood.
Crazy how Blizzard knew to craft such meticulous quests. Oh my god, like they did it so good. Like meticulously crafted these quests that are so genuine and humane. It was, even though it sounds like pretty metal and actually dark, like it had meaning. It was so good, man. And you weren't the hero of this story. You were essentially the villain. And also, you just took part in someone else's story. Like, that was beautiful. That was crazy good.
And then told that the embalmer's heart is the source of his power, and if I can retrieve it from his dead wife while bringing it to the mayor, we might be able to save the town. But as all that's going on, some scout enters the room telling us that a terrifying thing is headed this way, with the mayor telling the man to go and prepare the night watch. I quickly start sprinting down the road towards the...
Is there a worse fate than being a night watch in World of Warcraft? For an NPC, story-wise? Not only they're malnourished, undergeared, Stormwind doesn't care about them, they're left abandoned, they got a big-ass zombie coming their way every single day. Like, is that good? I don't know, man. I'm not feeling it. I think they suffer the most.
Balmer's place to find his heart, and as I run, the scout...
Yeah, it's either that or being born a gnome.
...sprints ahead of me, yelling, "Beware, a threat lurks in the wild." As I come to the fork in the road near the cemetery, that's where I see a scene starting to unfold. The usual quest givers here are banding together in the center of the highway, preparing for whatever threat comes lumbering down in the distance, and that's when I see... the abomination from Warcraft 3,
yeah.
Stitches. Oh god, I just saw his corpse at the end of last episode, not knowing where he came from or what he was doing. I certainly didn't know I was the one that caused the town his wrath. I pause and prepare to fight alongside the Night Watch. He's a level 35 elite, but with 5 of us here, we should be able to take him down, right? Nope, he goes off and just starts 3-hitting each one of these poor guards, killing them one after another, which scares me from running in to tank him until a few are already dead. By the time I jump in, I realize I can't take him down myself, not even with the help of everyone still alive, and in fact, I'm about to die. That's when I try to run away, and my RuneScape player brain kicks in, trying to find a safe spot behind this fence just to stall as long
he's
as
kiting.
possible.
New tactic.
But that's when...
he's doing that.
A much higher level player comes to my rescue, seeing the pathetic scene from down the road, and thank goodness that they are a very
an actual
talented
based hunter
who
enjoyer?
can actually help subdue the abomination. This high
Rare
level
hunter W.
Lerlin and her pet cat help me finish off Stitches, once again returning him to a lifeless corpse, saving the town. Thank you so much, Lerlin, for saving my sorry ass. This was such a cool moment. Most of the times when I play MMOs in the past, any kind of boss in a quest like this is always fought in an instance rather than out in the open world. Having the big villain of this quest line be something that's actually roaming around the world among everyone else not only makes it all the more terrifying when I see him slaughter regular quest-giving NPCs, but it also makes him feel all the more real since he's something every player in the world can see and has to deal with.
And also, it gives consequences to your action. The world is responsive. You actually made something happen. I think it was Gabe Newell that said that. Like, you get a narcissistic injury whenever you do something and the world doesn't respond. And World of Warcraft and Blizzard back in the day knew exactly how to treat that. Amazing. Actually amazing. Genius game design.
It genuinely feels like I really did mess everything up and almost caused the end of Darkshire. Also, I have to love the throwback that Stitches is just an abomination from Warcraft 3. I beam with joy every time I see any kind of reference to that game. But with Stitches dead, I head back out to the Hermit's shack, finding the grave of his wife lying behind it. I read the gravestone before doing anything else, which gives me a nice reminder of the motivations that kicked off all this chaos. I've always found stories to be boring if a villain is just some random guy that wants to destroy the world because he's evil or whatever. It's always so much cooler when there is a real, relatable motivation behind an antagonist.
Damn.
And losing a loved one is something I can certainly empathize with.
Imagine him watching current Blizzard villains. Like, do we even know why Zelotef is doing what she's doing? Like, I don't think we do. We saw a glimpse of her story and nobody cared. It didn't make any sense, and I bet it won't in the future too. It's so disheartening to see all of that unfolds. Like, he doesn't know, man. We need to shield him.
Dig up the hermit's wife who tries to eat me and apparently
Shit.
succeeds.
Just
as
get her.
I died, not realizing I need some help to do this quest. She is a pretty tough elite herself. But after reviving and getting a couple strangers in region chat to come around, I managed to slay Eliza and grab...
Zelotef exists to make money, same reason anyone does feet OnlyFans. Oh, God. Oh, no. Next patch, or next expansion, sorry, she's gonna get a toe ring and Reddit will go crazy.
Abercrombie's heart from her chest cavity. I take his heart back to the mayor, who thanks me for saving the town, assuring my name will be written in their history books and rewarding
Classic.
me with
Surely.
a pretty awesome shield, the crest of Darkshire. And you know what? This story, it was great. No disappointment whatsoever. It was amazing from start to finish. You know, I was just talking earlier about how cool it is that RuneScape keeps the logic of an MMO by starting off quests with hapless adventurers accidentally helping out villains. I had no idea I was about to run into the exact same thing, and it works just as well here. After all, it wouldn't make sense if I just came into this game and had some random NPC giving me a quest saying, "Help, you're the only one that can save us from the embalmer attacking our town." But it does make so much sense in a world filled with random adventurers running around that one idiot would be gullible enough to accidentally do a quest helping out the embalmer that almost levels all of Darkshire, with the added awesome flavor that it takes actual groups of other players to set everything right. One of the more fascinating things about this quest line, though, is that I might have actually appreciated everything all the more, specifically because I was coming to this quest after I experienced all those disappointments leading up to it. I mean, I was just going through so many simple quest lines to kill a certain number of mobs, or collect certain items, or deliver this message, so it didn't feel like anything was amiss as I was going and doing the exact same tasks just for another NPC. I actually didn't pick up that anything suspicious was going on until I was already a few steps in. I assumed I was just helping a weird old guy that Madame Ava was worried about. Actually, why did she send me to Abercrombie anyway? She was the one that wanted me to check up on him in the first place. This is all her fault. One of the things this quest reminded me of more than any other.
Damn, just putting the blame on anyone else?
When you have delayed gratification in a game. I don't know if it's just developers not trusting players' patience nowadays or what, but it feels like so many online...
Yeah, my Twitch stream went down for some reason. What the hell happened? Okay, I guess I'll check it out later. Is the YouTube stream still running? It is. I don't know what happened. I guess, again, Blizzard is constantly sending people after me. That's crazy. Okay, at least the YouTube stream is still running. Okay, interesting. I guess Twitch shut it down or something? I don't know. I'll check it later. Let's finish the video.
Games today just throw you immediately into high stakes action and never let off the gas pedal. Everything has to hit the ground running. Everything has to be instantaneous. At least in the world of online games, people seem to come in with this expectation that they are experiencing the best and most intense possible gameplay right from the get-go, no questions asked. But I don't know. I don't think that's as fun, at least not after a while. A story can't be non-stop action. You need to have slower moments to appreciate stillness, sit with events, and let a narrative breathe. Even in multiplayer games that have no story, you really should have moments of downtime before the exciting, game-defining action occurs. It's because of those smaller moments of build-up that the big, exciting plays feel all the more big and exciting. And that's certainly true in MMOs. The excitement that comes from getting a rare drop, or accomplishing a tough achievement, or even doing something as simple as leveling up, that only feels good because of all the hard work you had to put into it. If a game is nothing but an endless stream of shiny rewards given to you one after another, then no reward means anything. You gotta let me breathe before you throw another pop-up my way. But yeah, Abercrombie's quest line, it was absolutely incredible. Somehow Duskwood now has 3 of my favorite quests in this game. How is Blizzard so good at making spooky regions? Drustvar was also my favorite zone in retail too. They have a real knack for this. But you know, honestly, of all the things I've talked about in this video so far, one thing that's really surprised me the most about Classic WoW in my playthrough is how the game feels like it's getting denser the longer I play. Normally, MMOs don't do that. Normally, MMOs either have content that's front-loaded at the beginning or back-loaded at the end, or maybe both. Developers obviously want to have a very curated introductory experience, putting their best foot forward for new players in the early levels to actually sell the prospect of players playing their game for a few thousand hours. So it makes sense there would be tons of well-made content placed right at the start. But you also have to make sure you're constantly adding all kinds of content to the end game for the sweaty players that max out their characters too fast and then constantly demand.
No, you don't. You don't. Just aim for the 70 to 80% of players in the middle. You do not have to cater to the 1%ers. This is something that I constantly say. If they want to play a game and sweat it out, go play League of Legends, go play Counter-Strike, whatever. Don't try to force your esport mentality onto an MMORPG game. Never try to do that.
New challenges and items to grind for, so that's why it makes sense there would also be tons of well-made content in the end game. But that means for most MMOs, if there's ever a weak point, it's the mid-game where players are stuck between those two. And that's why it's so surprising to me that WoW is getting denser the more I'm entering the mid-game. I am seeing more noteworthy stories than ever as I continue playing. I'm getting more areas to explore with more secrets hanging around in each one of them. I've got a quest log that's never empty. I have tons of new regions I'm about to step into. I also just found PvP and tried to queue up for my first ever battlegrounds, even though the queue never popped. That's another thing I can't wait to try. And on top of all of that, by now, the game's given me so many abilities and gear options, I bet I could spend over an hour just trying to fiddle with how to best set up my ability bar. It's incredible how much stuff there is in this game and how I'm never running out of things to do, even as I finally start to wrap up the starting zones that I first came across.
And it's crazy that people will come into Classic and tell you there's nothing to do. That's the crazy part, because they're seeing it from the lens of a retail degenerate. That's their problem, really. They're just looking at it from perspective of someone who already experienced everything, and it's like, oh, Classic has no content. But if you see a new player play, you understand that Classic has the perfect amount of content. Maybe not in the end game. The end game is a little bit dull and you just raid log your way in, but that's not a huge problem. Just go play other games. It's fun to just log in once or twice a week, do your raid, get your items, hang out with your friends you met online, and just go play something else. Or touch grass. Like, that was good. I don't like the fact that retail constantly forces you to log back into the game. I don't think that's healthy. I think videos should let you go. Video games should let you go, especially MMORPGs. You don't need to constrict the player. You should give them the freedom to go back and forth however they like.
And I'm still unlocking more. While I was wrapping up the Abercrombie questline, a guildmate messaged me saying they noticed I hit level 30 and hinting that I should really do the Whirlwind Axe quest,
yeah, right.
whatever that is. I realized it's a class quest. I haven't done one of those in a while, and now I'm pumped as hell to see where that will take me.
It's a fun one.
Maybe it'll take me to Darrowshire so I can actually get back to doing what I want to be doing more than anything
also,
else
it's one
right
of the
now.
better looking
I'll save
items
all
in the
that for
game.
next episode. Thank you very much for making it to the end of this one. If you enjoyed watching,
It was
please go
amazing.
ahead and subscribe so you can.
No, this guy's making the best World of Warcraft content out there, and he's not even a WoW player. That's the crazy part. It's insane. I'm gonna leave you guys link in the description and also a link in the chat, so you guys make sure you actually get into that, subscribe to him, like his videos. This guy is a phenomenal content creator.